welcome to Analytics and Insights. And today's session is all about goals and conversions. So to recap on what we went over in our last session, we looked at the behavior report in Google Analytics. Now, I know there's a lot of new people here today, and if we get time in the Q&A, I will perhaps do a little refresher for everyone after we've been through all our questions. But the behavior report is one of several reports that Google generates, and we use these to look at how our website visitors are interacting with our website. The behavior report in particular looks at how visitors flow through the website. Are they following the journey you wish them to take to get to where they need to take action, whether that's inquire now, buy now, or download something? And so the behavior report shows you what content, how your content is performing, helps you identify the best and the worst performing content. So that's what we covered, an overview of this behavior report. We also looked at we took quite a deep dive into the bounce rate. Now, the bounce rate is one of the most useful metrics in Google Analytics. It's something I use all the time. Now, a bounce rate is when someone visits a single page of your website, doesn't interact with it, and then jumps straight off. So think of a bounce, like bouncing off a trampoline. So this bounce rate, and typically what we're looking out for is a high bounce rate, and that is an indicator that something is not quite right. There might be a technical issue on a page, or the content is not performing well. So this is a great indicator throughout when we're looking at the Google Analytics reports. So today we're looking at Google Analytics goals. So goals are a metric that help you understand whether your website is actually helping your business. So we might log into our Google Analytics and see, oh, wow, we've got 20% more visitors this month. Well, that's great, but are those visitors converting into leads or customers? And with a little bit of configuring, we can actually set up Google Analytics so it's measuring our marketing activity. It's measuring those specific actions on your website that are part of your marketing goals. So 3 of the most popular actions I like to measure are, and for the purposes of today, we're going to focus on these type of actions, which is lead generation. So this is when someone is prompted to get a quote or to make an inquiry. Another popular action to measure is newsletter sign up. So if we're encouraging people to sign up to our newsletter, we're growing our database. It's a very cost-effective marketing tool. And so if our marketing campaigns are geared towards newsletter sign up, we can easily measure this through setting up of our goals. And the third popular one is an ebook download. So you might have spent, as part of one of your ongoing campaigns, is to develop an ebook, a guide, let's say, it could be a walking guide to your local area, some sort of useful information that your target market will want to download and give up their name and email address. So again, we can measure how successful this campaign has been, how many visitors are converting via this campaign. And this is all done through setting up goals. So we've got 4 types of goals that we can set up. For the purpose of today, we're going to look at a destination goal. So this is when a particular page in your website triggers a goal. So I'll give you an example. You might have an inquiry page set up, and on that inquiry page, there is an inquiry form. And once the user has completed the form, they are directed to a unique thank you page. So that is the page that would trigger this particular goal. And I'll show you how this works in Google Analytics in a moment, and I'll give you a practical example. So this one, I think, for smaller businesses as well, this is a really popular goal to use. We have time, this is actually time or duration goal, and page visits. These are engagement goals. So if you have set one of your marketing goals is to increase engagement on your website, this is where you would do that, and it will measure it. The events goal, this is an advanced goal setting and requires your web developer to set up tracking. An event might be, an example of an event is you might want people to view a video. So the event would be a video view to the end, or so that's it. But we won't delve into that today. We'll keep going with destinations. Okay, so now I'm going to take you into a live Google Analytics account, and we're going to have a look at how we actually set up a goal. So for those of you who are new to this today, to Google Analytics, this is, when you log in, this is your homepage view. Now, to set up a goal, we navigate down to the admin section, and you'll be presented with 3 columns. We navigate over here to the goal section. So on this, in this website, we've already got a goal set up for the contact page. So the contact page form has a thank you page attached to it. And that's unique to that contact page form. So whenever someone completes the contact page form, it counts as a goal, and that is called a conversion. So for example, we're going to set up today, we're looking at let's measure newsletter signups. So if we hit on new goal, and then we hit on custom and continue. Now here we want to give the goal a description. So we want to make this unique so that when we're viewing our goals, our goal conversions in the Google Analytics report, we want to be able to easily identify this goal. So let's call it newsletter. Okay, and here we have our types of goals. So we discussed those before, and today we're looking at the destination goal. So here, in our destination, this is where we put our the URL of our thank you page. So it's very important when we're using forms, and if we are going to be measuring how successful those forms are, it's important to give each form a unique thank you page. So when someone completes the form, they're diverted to this unique thank you page where they would get their download or just a thank you message. So for the newsletter subscriber, we're just going to call this thank you newsletter. And so within the website, I've created a thank you page that is called thank you newsletter. And we have this set to equals to. So every character in this URL must be exactly the same here as it is in your URL. Now you'll notice that I don't have the domain name in here. So that's the bit that ends with .com.au or .com. We don't need to include that. It's just every character after that. The value section, if you're looking at something, if you've worked out the average value of your lead generation, for example, you might want to fill that out. But for this, we're not going to do it. We're keeping it simple for today. The funnel, I use this funnel typically in e-commerce. So if you've got a WordPress site, for example, you might want to, and then up here is your thank you page for your e-commerce. You might want to put in the steps that people need to take to hit this page. So that would be your shopping cart. Maybe there's a shipping. Next section is shipping details, and then checkout, the pathway that they need to get to reach this. And then you would save that. And then in the report section of Google Analytics, you can see if people are not following through, not reaching this this page. And that's a way to understand that you've got an issue in that funnel. But for these purposes, we'll keep it off. But just so you know, it's a little bit more advanced, but it's very, very useful if you've got an e-commerce site. And then all you need to do is hit save. Okay, so then we come back to our home section. And so now we've got these goals set, and we can look at our, for example, our marketing activity, and we can have a look at what marketing activity is actually driving conversions, because that's the whole purpose for measuring our marketing. So in our acquisitions, so for those people who are not familiar, acquisitions is how people found your website. And these acquisition channels, they broadly correspond with your marketing activities. So organic search, this relates to your marketing efforts for SEO. So I can see here, so I've got goal conversion 1, and I just need to look up there, and I can see that that's my contact page. If I had multiple goals set, you just hit that little arrow and it will show you the other goals. So I can see here that organic search brought me 1 goal for this period. You can use this to change your date range. So it gave me, so 1 goal was completed. This is called a conversion. And this shows me that I had a 7.14% conversion rate. So out of the visitors arriving at my website, 7.14% of them converted for this period of time. And then if we were looking at, for example, you might be spending a lot of effort in your social media. Now you want to see that this is actually achieving conversions. It's great to use social media for awareness, but actually we would like to direct people to the website, have them interact, and then convert into a lead or a sale. So here we have no conversions, but if that's it's not a high priority on this website, but if that's where you're spending your marketing effort, then this is a really great useful metric to measure how effective your marketing activity is. If you were using Google Ads or social media advertising, you can see that there are sections over here. They would also display. And if you're using Google Ads, you'll be obsessively looking at the conversion rate, to see if they are working and driving business to your website. Now, you'll notice I haven't mentioned anything about e-commerce conversions. This is because if you have an e-commerce website, and or indeed you've got a third-party booking platform, so I know a lot of you have, we need to set that up separately. So that is in the e-commerce section. Here in this website, we don't have e-commerce, but Google has, this is the Google Analytics demo site, and which you're welcome, I'll pop a link in the chat and you can have a play around with this if you like, everyone's welcome to. So we go over to the conversions. This demo site is set up as an e-commerce site. So here we can get a great snapshot of our revenue being generated, and it drills down into what products are performing the best and so on. So it gives you a richer array of data, so you can make data-driven business decisions. So for those of you who have e-commerce sites or using third-party e-commerce software, I recommend you working with your web developer to get this set up. It's not something you can set up yourself without some technical knowledge. And if you go, if you're using Res Online, SiteMinder, FareHarbor, they all offer developer documentation, and you can just provide that to your web developer and work with them to get this set up. For your homework for this section, I recommend you trying to set up a goal. Now, I'm sure there's some of you who haven't even thought about your contact forms or your inquiry forms, and often it's the case that they might just pop up with a message, but you can quite easily create your own thank you page and configure it in the form section of your website so that it diverts to a URL when a visitor has put in their information. And look, if you get stuck on that, I'll give you my email address, and I can always point you in the right direction if you need some help with that. And for those of you who have e-commerce tracking, have a chat to your web developer about getting that set up. So that brings us to the end of our talk session for today. And now we're going to move on to the Q&A. Bye for now.